Watching this regional forecast for the Corn Belt. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, as we look at the hazards map across the United States today, we've got a relatively quiet picture across the central U.S. We do have some winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings across portions of northern Michigan, the UP of Michigan, even blizzard warnings across portions of New York, as we've got northwesterly flow coming in on the backside of that trough, that northwesterly flow coming over the top of the lakes here, producing some lake effect snow. We've got some, a chance for some flurries across portions of the eastern Corn Belt into the mid-south today, but not expecting any accumulation out of that. As we look at the temperature map here, 6 o'clock on Friday morning, temperatures anywhere from the negative teens across the Minnesota and Manitoba border to the upper 30s to near 40 degrees across portions of the mid-south, everywhere else kind of in between there. Checking in with the snow depth map. And here's that corridor that just fell Monday into Tuesday across portions, Tuesday into Wednesday across portions of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, into northern Michigan. And we'll continue to melt a lot of that as we head through today, and then especially into the weekend, the more robust snowpack found off to the north across the eastern Dakotas, the state of Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Now, as we look at the satellite picture, here's the big upper level low, the one that is kind of spinning itself down now, the one that brought the snow to the eastern Corn Belt Tuesday and Wednesday, the one that has brought some snow to the northern portions of the northeast region and is now continuing to pump those northwesterly winds across the lakes, bringing those lake effect snow bands to portions of northern Michigan all the way into New York, portions of the northeast region. And then rotating around on the backside are these little disturbances. This is the one that's going to bring those chances for some flurries across the eastern Corn Belt as we head through the day today. You can see those as we look at the radar picture again. Here are those flurries across portions of Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin, moving through northern Illinois into central Illinois as well. And those will continue to make their way off to the southeast as we head through the day today. We can time that out looking at the high-resolution NAM model and watching this disturbance make its way through the region again, not expecting accumulating snow with this one as it makes its way through the area, clearing central Illinois as we head through the afternoon today, moving into portions of southern Indiana this evening. Chance for some rain or snow showers across Kentucky and Tennessee as we head into the early overnight hours. On the backside of that, a whole lot of nothing as we enjoy a quiet Saturday and Sunday across the Corn Belt. Again, as we look at the accumulation map here, just watching the swath here where we can see those very light snow flurries, but again, not talking about anything sticking on the ground there. Perhaps a quick coating across portions of southern Indiana where some of those heavier snow showers may occur this evening. Now, as we look at the jet stream pattern, again, here's the upper level low spinning down. Let me change my color here across the northeast. And then the strong flow on the backside of that. Let's see where we're headed then as we head into the weekend and early next week. So just kind of bring it back. Now, something I wanted to point out, part of the reason for the upper level disturbances here, we see the very strong jet stream winds sweeping across the central plains on the backside of this system. Slightly less strong, you see the sharp cutoff here between the very strong winds in the core of that jet streak and then the slightly less intense winds here making their way through the Iowa and Illinois area. And we get something like that. We get strong winds with less strong winds. My vocabulary is maybe a little small here on this Friday morning. We get the difference in speed there. That creates some vorticity. We get swirling winds there, these little areas of vorticity. And that leads to, when we get positive vorticity, the chance for these upper level disturbances, these little clipper-like systems that could bring the chance for some light snow flurries to the region. Let's go ahead and jump back. That was not the reason that I was showing the 500 millibar winds. The reason I wanted to show that was the ridge that moves in here over the weekend, bringing in those warmer temperatures, but then also we get a merger here between a disturbance from the northwest and then our very strong subtropical jet. It's going to lead to the next major trough that swings through really the southern plains into the south, but we'll see a chance for some heavy rain across portions of the Ohio River Valley into the mid-south, again as these very strong jet stream winds pass over the area Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's going to help draw a lot of moisture northward from the Gulf of Mexico. As I take the drawings off, and as we head into the end of next week, we're not seeing that trough really anchor across the eastern half of the country. We're not seeing a real strong cold front on the backside of that. In fact, by the time we head into the weekend next week, March 6th, 7th, and 8th, we're going to build a big ridge across the midsection of the country. And that's going to allow some real spring warmth to build into the central U.S. and into the Corn Belt, again, as we get into next weekend. So instead of seeing any real, return of winter as we head into March, any big March snows, right now we're seeing a lot of spring warmth as we head into the first 7 to 14 days of March. Now with the precipitation look, what are we going to be talking about then as we head through the next 7 days? Well, here are the little flurries making their way through the Corn Belt, the eastern Corn Belt here during the day today, and then that quiet period as we head into Saturday and Sunday. By the time we get to Sunday night, we'll start to build some rain in across parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley, parts of Missouri and Illinois, starting to see those rain showers develop Sunday night into the day on Monday as the first wave begins to move through. Not expecting a real big snow threat with this one, though there's the chance here Monday that we could see some light snow across portions of the high plains, eastern Colorado into western Kansas. As we head into Tuesday, we just continue to build rain over this same corridor from eastern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, through the Ozarks, and then into the Ohio River Valley. Portions of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio can tap into some of that rain, but it looks like the heaviest will stick south of the eastern Corn Belt, or south of the Ohio River, as we head through the Monday through Wednesday time frame. Quiet again on the backside. That's when we'll start to build that ridge into the region, allowing warmer temperatures to return as we get into next weekend. Total precipitation over the next week, again, the heaviest rain kind of shifting southward over portions of Kentucky and Tennessee, although still possible we could get half an inch to an inch across portions of central Illinois, getting into north central Indiana and Ohio as well, all the way back toward the Ozarks. As we look further out, again, the trough right now, this brought the snow on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's bringing the cooler temperatures as we head into the end of this week. And then also the little disturbances rotating around the backside, bringing the chance for flurries yesterday and today. As we take this into the weekend, let me go ahead and click back. We'll get this timed out. Heading into the weekend, watching a ridge build into the region that allows warmth to kind of spread back into portions of the central and eastern Corn Belt into the mid-south. As our next trough digs into the region, that brings the threat for the heavy rain across the Ohio River Valley into the south as we talk about Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then look what happens on the backside here. Instead of digging a big trough and anchoring it across the region, allowing cold air to spill into the region, we quickly build a large ridge across the central U.S. as we get into the March 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th time frame next weekend into early the following week. So we're talking 7 to 10 days out into the future, but looking at an expansive warm sector that could allow real spring-like warmth, and we're talking in 50s and 60s to spread fairly far north across the Corn Belt. So again, not looking at any return of substantial cold across the region or heavy snow across portions of the Midwest, the central and eastern Corn Belt. Instead, looking like we'll tap into some spring warmth here as we head into the first week or two of March. Again, just looking at the temperature anomalies, I'm going to play out the next 10 to 14 days, and you don't see any blue invading here. Instead, you see fluctuations between those warmer red colors as we head into the beginning of March, and that is, again, temperatures near or above average as we head through the first 7 to 10 days and beyond into March. Looking at the precipitation type, the precipitation forecast, we're looking at 24-hour accumulated precipitation from the European ensemble model. Just want to point out a couple patterns. The first, that chance for some very light flurries making their way from the Dakotas into the eastern Corn Belt today. We'll then watch heavy rain build across this region as we get into the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, and then we'll explain what happens after that. Here's the early week rain. We shut it down next weekend, and then I'm watching the potential for not only some warmth to return to the Midwest here as we get into March 10th and beyond, but after we get through this dry stretch here next weekend, it looks like we could turn active once again across the central part of the country. So not only some spring warmth, but maybe some volatile spring weather across portions of the Midwest as we head into, again, the March 10th time frame and beyond. I know this is supposed to be a regional forecast focused on the next 5 days or so, but just letting you know some of these signs that I'm seeing as we look into early March, because I know people are curious, and this is just what I'm seeing here as we look out into the 7 to 14 day time frame. Let's finish up with a look at the temperatures then. Coolest off to the north, where we got the influence of this trough. Temperatures in the 20s across portions of the Great Lakes as we head through the day today. Warmer temperatures already returning to the high plains. As we look at those highs on Saturday, continuing to build warmth across the central and eastern Corn Belt. Sunday, that warmth expands across the region. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s across Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana, with 40s and 50s even into Wisconsin and Michigan. That will start putting a dent in some of the snowpack across this region, although the warmth is not quite as long-lived across that region. Will start to cool off just slightly as we head into early next week. Those overnight lows then tomorrow morning, waking up to temperatures in the single digits, where we have the snow on the ground in the Great Lakes to the upper 20s off to the south. Here are your Sunday lows, Sunday morning temperatures, Monday morning temperatures. And this is when we'll begin that rainfall threat across this region. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful weekend.